even for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Get a free pie in July at Domino's. Click on over to Domino's.kn, and when you order any carry-out large pizza at menu price, you get a second medium one-topping pizza absolutely free. Simply click on the offer on the homepage or use offer code JULY, all caps, and your second pizza is free. Offer valid for carry-out orders placed online at any Domino's location, or download our Domino's Caribbean app in all the app stores. A free pizza pie in July at Domino's. Now that's amore.
Wow, call Domino's!
Or click Domino's.kn now.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and zero annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Bastere or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today because you deserve platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love.
Good morning once again, and welcome back to the morning show right here on Zeliza Radio. It's now time for our program, Policing With You, coming to you compliments National Bank.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Welcome back to our program. I'm your moderator for this morning. Our host this morning is Superintendent Francis. I pause because I have to get accustomed.
I understand.
Yes.
We alternate at times.
Yes. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, pleasant good morning to you, JQ. Good morning to everyone out there in the radio audience, internet, local, regional, international. Welcome again to another feature program of Policing With You. Today I have in the studio with me Divisional A Commander, Superintendent Henry, and the Commissioner of Corrections, Mr. Terrence James. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Superintendent Francis.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, beautiful. Now, the Commissioner of Corrections, Commissioner Mr. James, is here to provide information and updates on the COVID-19 related situations at the prison, and Superintendent Henry, who is here time and time again, will give us updates. Give updates to the listening audience on issues surrounding the days of limited lockdown and the additional days of total lockdown. and they will both be available to answer any questions after we return from the half break time.
Okay.
Return from the halftime break, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, so before we start the program, before we jump straight into the program, I would like to take this opportunity to mention two very important announcements to the general public. That is an ongoing investigation that we need the general public assistance. Now, firstly, the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force is investigating the missing report of Ashton Ferdinand alias Bobo of Taylor's Village. He was last seen on Friday, the 11th of June, 2021 at about 7:54 a.m. at Pond's Pasture, wearing a red and short sleeve shirt and a brown pants. Additionally, the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force is also investigating the missing report of Purcell Hope alias Peter or James of Carn Street, Newtown. He was last seen on Saturday, June the 9th, 2021 at about 7 p.m. wearing a black tam on his head, a short shirt, green pants, no shoes. Our information is that Mr. Hope is frequenting in the Molyneux area. Now, if anyone have any information with regards to the whereabouts of Mr. Ashton Ferdinand or Purcell Hope, please contact the Basse Police Station at 465-2241 or your nearest police station, or call the police hotline at 707. All information shared will be treated as confidential. So these two missing persons have been vigorously investigated by the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force. We've extended, done extensive investigation with reference to Ashton Ferdinand and Mr. Hope. We visited Molyneux, where we were told by residents that he's seen one or two times around, but the police would like to be in contact with these persons to ensure their safety, to follow up and give some measure of closure to the family. So we are pleading to the general public to lend any assistance and call the nearest police station or the hotline to give any tips at all, and we will follow up on the information provided. No, thank you very much. Now we're going to jump straight into the program and question with the Commissioner, Mr. James. Now, Mr. James, the first question we would like to ask for the general public knowledge. Some weeks ago, you updated the country on the situation at Her Majesty's Prison regarding the residents and members of staff who have contracted the COVID-19 virus. What is the latest on this situation?
All right, again, good morning to the general public. Wherever you may be hearing or viewing, whatever platform you are viewing this broadcast from, good morning to everyone. Superintendent, I must say, I have to congratulate you on your promotion. I think this is the first time I've been close to you in congratulating you in your upward mobility in the police force.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing the good work. Your work just starting as a superintendent.
Yes, sir.
So keep moving on upwards.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes. I would have given an update on the prison almost 2 to 3 weeks ago on the status of Her Majesty's Prison. Since then, there have been a number of speculations as to what would have happened, is happening at Her Majesty's Prison. As the commissioner, I was put there to be in charge of the prison, and my primary job is to keep the inmates and my staff safe. Everyone around the world has been affected by the COVID-19, and Her Majesty's Prison is no exception. It was inevitable that the COVID would have entered the prison. We would have seen that all around the world, COVID would have entered the prisons, large prisons, small prisons, around the world. And so Her Majesty's Prison in St. Kitts would have been no exception. We have been hit by the COVID-19. We would have had our first case on the 10th of June, and that inmate complained about headaches and aches and pain, and he was quickly removed from the prison, taken to the JNF hospital where he was tested, and we had our first positive case. Since that, we would have had a mass testing of all inmates and staff on the 15th of June. And so from that mass testing, the result showed up some, out of the mass testing, we had 26 inmates tested positive out of the mass testing. But just prior to that, we had 15 other inmates who was tested. And so we had at least, I think it was 37. By then we had 37 positive cases in the prison. We also had 2 staff members tested positive. And so we quickly put our plan into place. We isolated the positive cases from those that are still negative. What we have done, our prison is what we call a 1-block prison. Our prison is a unique prison, it's only 1 block. Everybody know 1840 was built in the year 1840, and it was only built to house 60 inmates. So we had to improvise. So what we did quickly, we had some cells at the back of the prison that we used for the isolation of the first 15 inmates who had shown signs and were tested positive. But then as the mass testing number came in, we had to improvise. So what we did in the prison is that single block, we have divided it into half. And so we now have those that are tested positive, we isolated them on one side, and those that are still negative, we isolated them on the other side. And so that's what we have done quickly to try and curb. And since that mass testing, we have only had from 37, we're now up to 42. So we have at least 5 other inmates has tested positive so far. So we think we kind of put some sort of brakes or some sort of hold on the contamination so far. So that's where we are at this present time.
Okay, thank you very much, because you jumped straight into my second question. Thanks for clearing up that. To what extent have you been working with the Ministry of Health?
Definitely, we had to work with the Ministry of Health. I've been in constant dialogue with the CMO, Dr. Laws, seeking some advice on how to go forward, because there's no playbook for this COVID-19. As we go, we have to put things in place and adapt and change things according as everything is dynamic as we go. So I have been in contact with the CMO and Mr. Abia Samuel, the chair of the task force, and getting advice in what I should do in going forward. I must admit I don't have no experience in dealing with a situation like this. I don't think anybody have any experience in dealing with a situation like this. And so I've been in contact with the CMO every day, inquiring how I can get my inmates tested, how I can get people vaccinated, what suggestion, what advice I should do. And so that is what I've been doing every day in keeping contact. Dr. Liddy, who is the doctor assigned to deal with the prison and come in and do the testing, I have been in contact with her also. And a nurse had been assigned to monitor the cases inside the prison. So we have that dialogue with the medical team and the task force constantly.
It's wonderful to hear. So it's specially assigned individuals in the medical team
right.
for the prison.
Just for the prison alone. That's their job.
Okay. The residents at Her Majesty's Prison, in your view, are they considered more vulnerable when it comes to this virus?
Definitely. In the onset, since last year, everyone, that was one of the first things that was mentioned, that all prisons are considered and deemed to be vulnerable institutions because of the fact that persons live in close proximity. Everybody is up in everybody's face. It's kind of virtually impossible to do any social distancing inside a prison, even with the staff. Okay, and so persons would be in person's face constantly. So we had to put measures and protocols in place. Persons, once you enter in the prison, you must be wearing your mask. You must sanitize. We check your temperature once you come into the prison. So we had our protocols in place. And so the prison, all prisons haven't been deemed vulnerable institutions. And so we took stance early. As soon as information started circulating in March last year, I closed down the prison immediately. As soon as we had the first case of the domestic spread, I closed down the prison from the general public early. And so the inmates haven't been out of the prison for the last 4 weeks in any physical contact with the public. So I took measures quite early to try and curb whatever problem that might exist in terms of the COVID coming into the prison. But the inevitable did happen. It did happen.
Okay. In your view, having closed down the prison in an early stage, as indicated, the family members and and loved ones. How are they taking it?
Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Mr. Francis, because I personally took time once I had the list of all inmates that tested positive. I personally took time and made a telephone call to each member, to their parents, and spoke with them and indicated to them that yes, your son, your family member had been tested positive for the COVID inside the prison, and then they're not sick down or anything like that. We are doing our best. We double their intakes of vitamin C and supplements, and increase their food intake. And we would have given them extra sunlight and extra recreation out in the yard to get that extra sunlight. So I informed their family members. I did that personally. I didn't give anyone a task to do that. I did that personally. And some of the parents were very grateful that I took the time out to call and inform them as to the status of their loved one. Because people have been speculating that we are not doing anything with the inmates. We're just leaving the inmates to themselves, which is not true. Anyone who knows me, I'm not a person who, I like to speak out. I'll say that. And so if people are being treated unfairly, I would take a stand in that. And so I ensure that we did whatever we can to assist the inmate, because I know that they are vulnerable persons, they're human beings, and they have to be treated like human beings. So we did what we can to kind of assist them to speed up their recovery.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you mentioned it on here, because, as you said, there's different talks peddling in society.
People have been speculating and putting out all kind of things, and that is incorrect. Yes, we understand the prison is a small prison and it's in a confined space, and persons want to know how we can isolate people in there. I must say that too, that I think some people are still thinking that the prison has the sort of population that it had years gone by. As of this morning, 8 o'clock, the number of persons, the population at Her Majesty's Prison is only 174. Okay? And St. Kitts, we have 155 males with 4 females, so 159 total is on St. Kitts, and we have 19 on Nevis. In the prison farm in 19, we can house up to 50 inmates in the prison farm, and we only have 19 over on Nevis. Okay? And we have 155 males in 1840 at Her Majesty's Prison in St. Kitts. So yes, people might have thought that maybe a 5, 6, 7 years back, when it was like maybe up to 300 plus. We don't have that number right now. And as a matter of fact, I am actually in the process of making up a list of inmates who we think that can be released. I will send this up to my seniors for discussion, because this question was asked of me in the last press conference. If we are thinking of maybe discharging persons early, even release some of the remandees and their own recognitions of bail. Because as of present, the courts are closed.
Yeah, that's true.
And so no court is in operation only if some emergency and they're going to deal with something virtually. But the magistrate courts are presently closed. And so the remandees, we might have to have a discussion as to how we can probably release some persons who are remanded and some minor charges to even reduce the numbers here.
Yes, nice to know. So the from the Commissioner of Corrections level downwards, doing a lot of work.
Yes, we are.
To make sure
we are. And like I said, people are speculating and saying things. So that's why I'm here today to give an update as to what is happening at Her Majesty's Prison.
Okay, as we indicated earlier, St. Kitts is not the only place we have a prison. There are prisons all over the world, and regionally and internationally. And what have you been hearing from your counterparts in the territories, different territories?
Well,
in reference to COVID and these situations.
I think I might have spoken out of context back that St. Kitts was the last, but when I have made my research, I think the Dominica prison could be the last prison that haven't had any COVID touch their prison. So St. Kitts, I could probably rightfully say that we might have been the second to last. Okay, because I've been in contact with the other commissioners and superintendents of prison, and they have had COVID. But I back-checked with my counterpart, Mr. Kenrick Jean-Jacques in Dominica, and he indicated to me that no COVID had entered his prison since the COVID outbreak last year. So Dominica had been doing exceptionally well. I think that we would have done exceptionally well to hold off over a year and at least 2 or 3 months. So I think we tried our best, but because of the domestic spread that occurred in St. Kitts, it find its way into our prison. I must make mention though that our first case, the inmate that was tested positive, he is now fully recovered, and he is now back in the prison in the general population. And the 2 staff members that was tested positive, they too have been fully recovered. And so we have our 2 staff members fully recovered, and our first case inmate is now fully recovered. But the unfortunate happened again in one staff member. Today is Thursday, on Monday this week tested positive. So we have 1 staff member who just has been tested positive. So we're not doing too bad as at Her Majesty's Prison, in that yesterday now we would have done our second mass testing again of the prison, all inmates on St. Kitts, and we tested out of the staff in St. Kitts about 60. We tested 52, with just about, for the staff about 57%, and for the inmates almost 87% of the inmates tested. And so we are now waiting the results from yesterday to see where we are at, again, in terms of the COVID inside Her Majesty's Prison. So me and my staff have been doing and trying our best to keep the inmates safe and during this crisis time. As I said, there's no playbook, no handbook for this COVID. And so we just got to adapt to things that are dynamic, things that are changing every day. And so we just have to adapt and try to keep the inmate and my staff safe. Because without my staff, the inmate can't survive either. Sure. So I need my staff to be strong, and I must say, I want to thank my staff, the members of staff who have been there all through this crisis and who've been putting out, giving their all. People don't understand my staff members have to leave their home and come into the prison where we have COVID inside the prison. I surely and gratefully appreciate the effort that they make to come to work inside a prison that we have COVID. How much people out there would do that? You understand? And sometimes the prison staff don't get the commendation that they should get, because they're taking care of other people's loved ones. And some people don't understand that. But thank God, my staff, at present, I only have 1 member of staff that have COVID-19. And I'm thankful for that.
Yes. One last question, GQ, before we break for halftime. At one of the press briefings some weeks ago, this was an actual question that came in. The person said that they have seen a photo of an ambulance at the prison and wanted to know if the prisoner had died. I understand you still have to deal with these kind of rumors. What do you have to say about this?
All right. Yes, I was at that press conference, and I could recall Dr. Wilkerson did answer that question. We did came out early and said that, yes, the COVID had entered the prison, but fortunately, none of the inmates took sick, sick down and had to be in ICU or anything like that. They're still up and healthy and about. But when the person would have seen the ambulance came to Her Majesty's Prison, 1 or 2 inmates would complain of headache and joint pain. And so the protocol that I had from the CMO, is that once an inmate giving off these symptoms, we have to call 311. They will send the ambulance to the Her Majesty's Prison instead of we driving that individual up to the hospital. The ambulance will come, person in the PPE suit, collect the inmate in the ambulance, take him to the hospital, have him tested, and once he gets back, we'll then take precautionary measures and put him in the isolated area. We'll remove him from the population because he wasn't sick all the time. So we have to remove him. So that's why people were seeing the ambulance coming. We already declared that, yes, we have COVID in the prison. So on time to time, they might see the ambulance come and collect inmates. No inmate has died. No inmate has taken down sick and had to go to the ICU or to the hospital or anything like that.
Beautiful.
So that's where we are at present. So maybe today you might see the ambulance come again. Maybe you might see it come tomorrow because an inmate might complain of headache and we have to take him to the hospital to be tested.
So it's just precautionary measures
Precautionary
to ensure
measures.
safety.
Yeah, correct.
Beautiful. GQ, can we take a break?
Yes, we can. But before we do, I just want to let Commissioner James know that a few individuals here online congratulating you, saying good job.
Yes.
And a few are also saying good morning to everyone in the studio
Yes,
as well.
good morning.
Morning
Thank
from
you.
Atlanta. We're going to take a break. This morning's show is coming to your compliments, National Bank. When we return, we'll be taking your questions via the telephone, and I'm monitoring Facebook and YouTube and also BIP. If you have me on BIP, you can send your messages there, 767-3671.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
The following is a COVID-19 update from the COVID-19 Task Force and the Ministry of Health. The most common COVID-19 symptoms we are noting in the Federation are nausea, diarrhea, abdominal pain, severe headache, vomiting, body aches. Fever appears to be a late onset symptom. Persons experiencing any of these symptoms are asked to call your primary care doctor, your district medical officer, or call 311 for advice. Please do not leave home, travel on public transportation, or go to public places. This message was brought to you from the COVID-19 Task Force and the Ministry of Health.
Oh, yo, 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 yo. I'm
17 minutes, moving up to the hour of 10 o'clock. We're going to entertain your questions and your concerns in just a bit. But I just have to let the public know, and those of you who are not viewing, those of you who are viewing can see that Superintendent Cromwell Henry is in the studio. But even though this morning is more about the prison, why Commissioner James is here this morning, we'll be entertaining your questions about the protocols and the new regulations that are in place. If you do have any questions, and Superintendent Henry will be here to answer those questions. And of course, the matter at hand with the prison, Commissioner James is here in the studio to answer those questions. Superintendent.
Thank you, JQ.
Over to you.
I understand. Okay, welcome back to Policing with you in the studio. As indicated, we have Commissioner of Corrections, Mr. James, and Divisional Commander, Superintendent Henry. Now, Mr. James, as mentioned earlier, we just want to go over one last question. You put a number of things in place to try to prevent the virus from getting into the prison in the first place. Could you allude to the steps again?
Yes, well, earlier I said we would have closed down the prison from the general public having access, because we normally allow persons to bring things into the prison for their loved ones. But at this time, what we are trying to do, our primary objective is to contain what is already inside the prison. And so we have stopped family members from bringing anything to the prison. And so we have tried our best to, like I said, increase the vitamin intakes for the inmates and give them additional exercises and sunlight and like that. So yes, we have asked the public to hold fast and bringing things to the prison. And the persons willing to bring their supplements for their family members, and we are willing to have them supply that. It takes some of the burden from us, off of us. We would have put our protocols in place. Persons would have to be sanitized. The staff, we know that the staff comes and go. We can't stop that. The staff members have to leave work, go home, go places, come back to work. And so I encourage the staff not to stray too much from work to home, or if they need to go to the supermarket or whatever, for emergency stuff. They need to just go and don't be wandering too far, because we don't want to get another outbreak in the prison. We are just trying to contain what's there first, bring it under control, and then we move from there.
Okay, is there anything else on your slate that you would like to mention to the general public for their knowledge?
Well, as I said, we are trying our best, Mr. Francis, our best to keep the inmates safe. That's my primary objective, and my staff, and try to contain the COVID inside the prison. I'm hoping that from the mass testing yesterday, we will get some recovery, because it would have gone 14 days now since the first group of inmates would have tested positive. So I guess by now it would have gone to their body. The vitamin would have fight it off. I must make mention too that the vaccination, my staff, I had, I think, 60% of my staff has been vaccinated. Out of the 92 staff, I have 55 of them just giving me about 60% of my staff being vaccinated, whereas 33% has been fully vaxxed, and 27% would have been at least had their first jab. Right? And the inmates also was vaccinated. Out of the 179 at the time, 89, which is about 50% of the inmates had been vaccinated. 33% had been fully vaccinated, and at least 14% would have taken their first jab. So some of the inmates was reluctant to take the jab. I mean, there are some Rastafarians in the prison. I mean, everybody knows Rastafarians have a reluctance of taking vaccine, and so I wouldn't force anybody to take the vaccine. But a majority of them would have volunteered and take the vaccine. They would have seen that, heard that it would be beneficial for them and for their own safety, and so they would have taken the vaccine. So yes, we did have both staff and inmate vaccinated in the prison.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. GQ, at any stage, if you have any calls, you could always let us know.
All right. And the number to call, once again, 465-2555. And for those of you in the United States area, 718-577-2916. I will ask you to ask your question, and then we'll have the commissioner or superintendent engage your question afterwards. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, GQ.
Yes, morning.
Good morning, my friend, Mr. James. You know you ain't supposed to be there. Mr. James, I want you to understand what's going on in the little society. We have some people on the right, and the left, they mean well for this country. For their part, they could see everybody dead too on this country. But another fighting a losing battle, because that thing will never return here. Mr. James, I want to congratulate you on the job you have been doing in the prison so far. Hearing from Idrians and Idrians who visit 1840 talk very good about you. I know you. I know you. I know you very well. I know where you're capable of. The people who going to go on the internet and talking a lot of stupidness about the prison, they don't know Mr. James. They don't know Chumpo. The first time I happened to meet you in the early days in the park playing for Kean, you know what I'm talking about? And I understand in sports, you never nonsense fellow. You work hard, you put in everything. You remember them jolly days where we had?
You got way back, man.
Mr. James, I want to congratulate you again and keep it going. Don't study them. We know who doing these things, you know. We know who doing these things. Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, man. All right, let's take another call. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning, GQ.
Yes, morning.
And good morning, the staff there for the Her Majesty Prison 1840.
Morning.
I want to commend you all on congratulations to the wonderful job that you have been doing and you still is doing. Now, I am so happy that you all have the condition of the prisoners them in there under control to a certain extent. Well, we know this COVID here, he has no respect for nobody, no exception, no nothing. And with the controller you all are able to use and have in the prison, you are supposed to be highly commended. Very much. And like Jamdong said, people will do mischief. The devil find work for idle hands to do, and he also find work for idle brains to think about. So don't worry with them. You're doing your work, and you're doing it professionally, and we all are proud of you and your staff. Now, I want to commend the Rastas in the prison who decide to obey the protocol and take good advice from those who know more than everybody else, who study medicine and human biology. I commend them for going forward and volunteer and take the vaccine, because they know the consequence of not having a defense is not easy. It's death in this kind of case. It's life and death with this corona. Now, my question to you, Mr. James, we know that the prisoners and they are following the protocol, but what assurance do anyone have that when the staff finish working for the evening or whatever, and they go out, like you say, you hope they don't mingle and whatnot. When they leave and they come back in the morning, what assurance we have that they did not mingle between somebody and they might be positive? That's the question I have. But everything else going good in the prison, and keep it up. No naysayers and no Facebook supposed to stop you all from doing your work. You're doing a great job. You see the population that you reduced the prison from 300 to 100 and something. Ain't that good? Thank you very much for listening to me.
All right.
Commissioner.
Answer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for the question, caller. Well, that's the challenge that we have here. In that, when a staff member would have left the prison, and he goes home. Once he left the prison, he's on his own basically. We will expect him as in principle and in discipline to not be strained and going up all over down the place. What we have done, though, from since last year is that we have a vehicle at the prison that we collect the staff from their house, their residence, take them straight to the prison, and when they leave in work, they left the prison in the prison bus and they take them back to their home. That is as far as I can do. When they get home, I really don't know where they go from there, and I have no control over that. But at least I know that they are taken from the house, they work in 6 to 2, at morning by 5:30 or whatever time, they are collected at their residence. We do that because we don't want the staff to be traveling on the public service vehicle to be mingled in between the general public. So at least we put that in place, management. Okay, so that is as far as we can go. But when they reach home, I really don't have any control over that. What we can do is, once they get back to the prison, we ensure that they are sanitized. We have the various sanitization stations. We check their temperatures and the protocols that we have in place, and we carry out those protocols. That is what we have been doing.
All right, let's take another call. 6 minutes to the hour. Good morning. You're live.
Hi, good morning, GQ.
Hey, good morning.
I'm happy that Mr. Cromwell is there, so let me direct my first question to him, even though the program is not really geared towards what I'm asking. So, Mr. Cromwell, could you clarify or clear up? Because I just received a message and I had to talk to the person about it. They saying that police is in town giving persons tickets because their vehicle are not licensed, and they think that they should get a break because there was lockdown and they want to go in town to buy things. But I know that I myself have shared that the inspection has been waived. But if you show your receipt from Inland Revenue, you will be allowed to drive your vehicle. So maybe you could shed some more light on it. I know persons are asking about the insurance. I'm not sure about the insurance and how that will play out. Also, in terms of the prison, how are the vaccination progress going in the prison? Is this helping with the outbreak? And would you say it is under control right now, or there is lots of contact chasing that is going on? Good program, as usual.
Superintendent?
Yes, we want to thank that caller for that question. We have said that we waive the inspection for vehicles ending with 6 and 7. This has been ongoing for quite some time. This waiver has been ongoing for the whole of June, actually. Inland Revenue has been open. We just gone into the 24-hour lockdown from last weekend, I think last Friday. So up until the 28th of June, Inland Revenue have been opening every day. So persons had an opportunity to go and get their vehicles licensed. In any case, there is the online option where you can go online and renew your license there. You would be issued a receipt right away. You could either print the receipt or you could save it on your phone to show the police if you are stopped. So persons really are to get their vehicles licensed. It's important that you have your vehicle license. If your insurance is expired and you're not able to get your insurance renewed, of course you should not be using the vehicle because you increase your risk. Should something happen, you might not be able to afford the cost of repairs to the other person's vehicle you may damage or the other person you may injure. So it is not advisable that if your insurance is expired and you cannot get it renewed, to use your vehicle. So in those circumstances, if you're caught using your vehicle and it's not licensed or it's not insured, the police really has an obligation to prevent that from happening. Because if your vehicle is not licensed and you're involved in an accident, that could void the insurance. The insurance could refuse to honor any claim because you are not driving in accordance with the law. And so for the protection of yourself and the public, the police have to enforce the law and do not encourage people to drive their vehicles that are not licensed or insured.
Okay. All right. Before we go to the phone line, someone is saying, Commissioner, stand firm, mix it with wisdom and understanding.
There was a question.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes, sorry.
Yes, the caller had asked if we had it under control. Well, from the first mass testing, where we had up to 37 inmates tested positive, since 2 weeks ago, we would have only had just 5 inmates tested positive. So we think we would have kind of have it a little bit, I want to say fully under control, because we don't have that large number of inmates coming up positive. As I said, we would have had a mass testing yesterday, and in discussion with the CMO, she indicated that from the second mass testing, from whatever number come out, if there's any more positive come out, we'll now be able to make a comparison between the first mass testing and the second mass testing to see if we would have it under somewhat control inside the prison. Because that is our main objective, is to bring it under control so that it don't spread to the entire prison. With the contact tracing, well, the inmates inside the prison already, so we would know if that inmate was in a cell with the other inmates that was inside there, then those inmates would have to be tested. So we can quickly contact trace with the other inmates that's in that same cell. That person would have complained of any headache. So that's how we do the contact tracing inside the prison. If a staff member is test positive now, that staff member, well, that's why we test all the staff yesterday too. So that even I was tested, given a second test yesterday, keeping my fingers crossed that I'm still negative. So we test everybody who would have, because as I said, we all come to the same gate for the prison and we don't know. So to be on the precautionary side, we would have tested the staff yesterday also.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, the question, this one is from someone, I know you mentioned it earlier, but apparently they just tuned in late. They was asking the numbers for male and female in the prison.
In St. Kitts, we have 155 males and St. Kitts and 4 females.
All right. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, GQ, jam now again. Mr. James, we at the Court of Conscience want to know if you're going to run an investigation to know how that thing reached in the prison. It's very important. We need to know. That's the way we should be going when it comes to our correctional centers, them, that you could be prepared going forward. Because you know this thing ain't going done now, Mr. James. And I know you like them kind of things. That is where you're very good at. And next thing I want to say to Mr. Henry, my good friend, I spoke to you on the last show about the Chinese. The Chinese, them ain't run St. Kitts. It's politicians, them allowing them to do that nonsense. We ain't gonna tolerate it. No kind of protocol down in the Chinese restaurant down there. And the Bell Road. Now what are you doing, people? People people trying to look out for you. When they come with these information, jump on it. You know how the protocols, everybody just going in. You don't see it all by them. Who run this country? When you see one long time in this shiny and other man, ain't gonna walk here no more, you know. You can jam down and tell you what you got to say. You understand? And now you come on, go and control what's going on down there. This thing, you can't say you want to talk. You can't say you're in the village, but that's all is wrong. Nobody has seen. Any killing. Come on, Mr. Henry, man. Go, I tell you, go down there, you ain't gone. Have a good day. This is jam down talking, eh? This is jam down talking.
Thank you for that. I think the last time I would have responded that we still would want to encourage persons to take personal responsibility. I did go by the Chinese supermarket on the Bell Road, and they do have a sanitizing station at the entrance. While there's not someone there, which will be ideal to ensure that person is sanitized, the sanitization station is available, and we would expect that persons would take that personal responsibility to ensure that they sanitize themselves and to wear the mask once they would have entered the place. I do not like the idea of having to be telling people the same thing over and over every time. Put on your mask, sanitize your hand. I mean, we need to take personal responsibility. If we have to do it, we will do it, but we prefer voluntary compliance with these protocols. And if there's a sanitization station there, you need to sign up to say, wear your mask. You know, everybody by now know that they're supposed to wear a mask in public. Why do someone has to be there to tell you, put on your mask, sanitize your hand? Take personal responsibility. The facilities provided, use it.
All right, before we go back to the phone line, we're going to take another break, and then we'll be back. Once again, this morning program is coming to you compliments National Bank.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
With Prime bundles from Digicel, you get more than just data. You level up to a whole new digital life. Level up with D-Music and groove along with all your favorite music tracks. Level up with Sportsmax and catch all the adrenaline-packed live sports action. Level up with Go Loud and tune in to local radio stations and most happening podcasts from all around the world. And level up with Play Go and get a front row seat to watch the latest movies and TV series. Enjoy a 14-day bundle starting only at $50 with 98 gigabytes of dedicated data for premium access to your favorite apps without touching your any use data. Experience the next level of digital. Get a 14-day Prime bundle for $50 in the My Digicel app today.
Looking for the best price on your third-party insurance? Well, look no more. The insurance company of the West Indies, ICWI, has the best protection at the best price with no deductible. What are you waiting for? Click, call 465-8753 or visit us at 1C Bird Rock Road or in Nevis number 22 Solomon Arcade, Main Street. Payment options available.
All right, welcome back. I have to acknowledge this comment on here though, and as I did off, I could see the appreciation on your face and the connection as well. So I'm not going to announce who the person is, but once again I'll just reiterate what they said. Commissioner, stand firm, mix it with wisdom and understanding. Non multa sed multum.
Yes, non multa sed multum. That means that person would have went Keyan High School, that's their alma mater. I too was, that's my alma mater.
Okay.
Non multa sed multum, not quantity, but quality. That's the motto of the Keyan High School.
Yes, man. And obviously you live in that now.
Yes.
I like that.
Not quantity, but quality.
Indeed.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to the phone line and let's take this call. Good morning, you're live.
Yeah, GQ.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Henry.
Yes, he's listening.
Yeah, okay, you gave an answer to the last callers about the restaurant down at the waterfront, the bayfront. Look, I don't think that is the best answer to give anybody. In this kind of time, with this kind of what you call it, detrimental disease that we got, you cannot see it, smell it, nor nothing. And you know human being, you cannot leave a thing like this for human being to go in and say, well, they're going to follow the protocol and go by the sanitizing station and spray their hand. A lot of people just don't care about their life, and they don't care about other people's lives. So the supermarket people, they're supposed to have somebody there to make sure that each person come in here, you follow the protocol with your mask and spray your hand and then go. Don't leave it up to them. Because that's why we got this community spreading, because a lot of things is left to the individual them to say, well, okay, I'm supposed to do this and undo it. But they ain't doing it. So therefore, since they ain't doing it, enforce it with the authority of the law. That's all I have to say on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we take the point. We take the point, and we will still follow up on that issue. Since it's still an ongoing problem, we will follow up today. I will personally go there today and see how we can rectify that problem. So we take the point, and we thank you for that.
All right. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller number 1, you are live.
Yeah, Mr. Henry, where I want you to do for me, jam down, where the station is, when you come in the door, a person ain't seen it unless who cash in, say go sanitize. And another thing I discover, we local young boys, them, they're not respecting the Chinese youth, them, when they go there to sanitize. They're telling them, oh, yeah, I'm from here, you can't tell me nothing and walk in the place. Put police by these places, like a Value Mart where you got Dexter and big boy, the schoolmate. Put police by where you know the crowd gonna be. Put police. And not just ordinary police. Put SFU man, drug squad, put them kind of police. We got to go out of here, Mr. Henry. This thing ain't, you don't know where it be. You can't say, yo, put them and say you ain't going over there. And he come to kill the elders. Mr. Henry, please correct that thing for me. Yeah? We want to see something like we done Ram. And the Chinese man, he ain't adding adherence to what's going on. It's just about money. And they're going to kill off think it's people so. Have a good day. This is Jam Dong talking, eh? Good.
All right, Jamdong. I don't think you heard Superintendent response, but I'll let him say it so you can hear.
Yes, as I said, Jamdong, I take the point, and I'm going to personally go there after I leave the studio this morning, and we would see how we could rectify the problem there.
All right. Line 2. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning to all.
Good morning.
Brother James, I want to say good morning to you. This is the lady from church. You know who that is, right? I just want to congratulate you and to tell you to keep up the good work and stay focused. Thank you.
Oh, she didn't hear the last stuff. She can hear now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the commendation. Jamdong had asked a question about the investigation as to how the COVID might have entered the prison. Yes, I was in contact with the CMO and that we've been trying to narrow it down to see how because the prison was closed down to the general public for like the last 4 weeks. So we reasonably presume that it wasn't an inmate, but we remember inmate at times goes to the hospital for other general checkups or things like that. Inmates go there for therapy and so we don't really know for a fact that if it's a staff who brought it into the prison or if an inmate maybe when they go up to the hospital for checks or whatever. But we are still trying to see how we can narrow it down to see how it might have entered the prison. It is a fact that it's in the prison. Yeah, that's a fact. And we have to deal with it and get it under control. So that's what we are trying to do. We're not trying to point any finger at anybody at this time, because pointing the finger wouldn't really solve the problem. The problem that we are trying to solve is to get it controlled and eliminated out of the prison. So that's where we are.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. I'm surrounded by Superintendent and a Commissioner. Commissioner James, Superintendent Francis, and Superintendent Henry in the studio with me. Line 3, let's go back to the phone line. Good morning, you are live.
Good morning.
Yes, morning.
I know this is about the traffic, but I have a issue there I would like to put to. I know Cornwall maybe can't help me, but with the health part of the hospital, you need somebody, please, to go and check it out, because when the kids then was born, the roof leaking, and they have to put the garbage kit them in the hall there to catch the water. And if you look in the roof, you see molds and all kind of things. And his young baby is up there. Well, I could say that because I was up there and I see a man like you. So, if somebody there could whoever up there to go maintenance go or what's not, to please go and reward them and get them fixed. Anybody go up there and look up in the roof, they see this thing. Right now it's green. So please, somebody who out there who dealing with the issue of the hospital, please go and rectify it for Miss York or whoever. Please. Thank you.
I'm certain that someone from the hospital is listening, the maintenance staff there, and I'm certain that they would address that problem.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Line 2, good morning, you live.
Good morning, GQ.
Morning.
And good morning to Mr. James, to Commissioner James, and to Superintendent Henry, and to Superintendent Francis. I want to commend you all. I think you are putting up a good fight against this COVID, especially the community. This prison spread. I want to commend Mr. James. I believe that he handled it good, how I hear him speak, and I know that the CMO and the doctors then working towards that, and we'll get over this. Now, Mr. Henry, last night, yesterday afternoon, I heard the briefing, and he was talking about like people to put in place, like vendors, food vendors, and vendors who sell clothes and all those things on the road. That somewhere up the industrial side, they're seeking a place up there for them. But what about the cooked food vendors then? We have some cooked food vendors that sell daily in town, right? I think that you all should find some way to put them in town, find some spot, because what happened that these vendors, these cooked food vendors, think that they're supposed to place some about in town, not of the industrial side. That when you come out the bank and you go buy your lunch, you go back to your work when you're done, whatever business place you're working in town. I believe that they're supposed to find some way a place in food vendors, especially these people who sell the black pudding a weekend time, sell the goat water. You know, I think that some government and you are supposed to look out for them, because these are people who contribute to the economy, and they do a good job. You understand? People like the local food, people like the local black pudding, people like the local whatever they sell, the bullhead, the sauce and all these things. So I believe that you could find somewhere to put them in the basket. All right.
Well, the minister would have said on the briefing last night that there is a committee in place to advise cabinet on what should be done with the vendors, and that committee reports regularly. They submitted a report already, and that report is being updated. I think the committee is chaired by someone from Sustainable Development, the planning unit, and that person is reporting. That committee is reporting to cabinet, making recommendations for to facilitate or accommodate vendors, the various types of vendors. We know already the food vendors the vegetable vendors are at the public market, and I'm certain that there will be some facilitation made for the other vendors around Bastia. But we cannot have the situation where a person just come and set up anywhere they feel in Bastia, on the streets or the sidewalks, to play their trade. It has to be organized and it has to be structured.
Thank you, Superintendent Henry. Let's back to the phone line. Line 3, good morning, you're live.
Yeah, Mr. Henry, And the question of the people who sell cooked food, I believe you all should space them out. And Bank Street, till we get over this thing, because politics is so right. We can't get them all over the place, scatter all over the place. But give them the opportunity to the trade and Bank Street. You block it off and tell them to bring their tents, social distance and sanitizing, that people could patronize them because they got to eat too. But the main thing is getting all these people the vegetable food in the market. And that has done, give these people a break. Them people around the square with the food cart, or you leave them around here. Leave them around the square. But in town, 4th Street, Church Street, we're going to tolerate that. And down by the Chinese, they're going to win the market. And look how nice it is, Mr. Henry. Everybody so pleased. I went there last Saturday and I buy one food. The old people them calling me, telling me, take that for me ital pot. The only thing I have to buy is 2 coconuts. You understand, Mr. Champa? This is what we want. We got to do the people in sync. It's got to act to the new norm. It's very serious. Guys, you guys doing a great job. I want to congratulate all of you all and the LOC and the police, the nurses, the doctor, even the GN cleaners, them. We want to thank you all. The Court of Conscience, Cecil Roberts University, want to give you all 3 cheers for Dr. Laws and Cameron Wilkerson. 3 cheers to you, my brother and my sister. A job well done. And we will get to the end of the tunnel. Have a good day, everybody.
All right, Jamster.
Thank you.
All right. No response? Okay, let's go back to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning, GQ and the superintendent here. You hearing me?
Yes, we are.
No, I don't know if the superintendent know that behind of Cooley, to the back of Cooley there, the road come up there. I don't know if you know that way back a couple of years ago, there was they put it as the vendors area for food and like things where Licky Board used to sell long time ago. Them times there, that was for the food and things like small things that the vendors do sell. I don't even know that.
We see from time to time people use that area, so it is still available for vendors.
It's still available for vendors. Yeah, but I believe that you all should put the food people there and the people who sell small items between there, because it was that long time ago. There is where Licky Bird and other people used to go and sell. I mean, we had a lot of the food vendors there, but a lot of them moved out and went uptown. But I think that there's the appropriate place to put them. It could hold couple vendors well. Space them out, and they go through with the protocol, and everything will be all right for them. Because I believe that they're supposed to eat too, and people need the service, right? Because they do a very good service. Thank you.
Yes, and I support that. They do provide an important service, and people need the service. And they will be facilitated. We just have to do it in a safe way for everybody.
All right. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, you live. All right. We lost that call. Let's try line 1. Good morning, you are live.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning.
Yes, JQ, nice topic, Mr. Henry, good morning. Yes, I was thinking the same thing too. My idea, I don't know if it will work. Those same vendors, them vendors who just come like on Friday and Saturday, they could have just let them come out, sell what they got to sell and then go back. Right? What was the hustle and the bustle is these people just come with a big tent all over town and look tacky all over 4th Street. I didn't like to say that. Now I could walk freely on the sidewalk. So you all work out something because I have somebody just buy from and the bus stand there and they're over on the other side and that's a little run over. Sometimes you feel peckish, you want to go home. I mean, you're going home and you want something to sweeten up your mouth in the night and you just run over to buy a piece of black pudding or so. So I don't know if I could have leave them there. The lady don't be there all week. She just come on Friday and Saturday and she gone. You have to put more people up aside that's really there all week. But for the food is the problem. What was in town is the vendors them with the ground food, with the porridge on. I mean, you talk to them, tell them you don't fall off the sidewalk. So you don't watch your grand cab and come knock to them. That was the insulting one. And they was just spreading all over the place. Make the place look like a old junkyard. So that done clean up now. Thanks to you all for that. So work out something with the vendor. They could study you. Every month you want to give them a time. They'll come just Thursday, Friday, Saturday and go home. Whatever. And it will get done. I take much of them. Just 3 or 4 of them. Not much. That could work out. And round the square, I don't know, the food card ain't look too bad, but they say all around they don't got to clean up too, but I rather leave it, but it's up to y'all, okay? Y'all work.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's take this next call. We're going to be wrapping things up in just a few minutes. I'm going to give Commissioner and Superintendent and Mr. Superintendent Francis a chance to wrap up as well. So we're going to take 2 more calls and then we're going to start our wrapping up process. Good morning, your life.
Good morning. I have 2 questions for the panel. I'm not agreeing with the state of emergency going down to the 31st of December. Reason for this, those in power can abuse their power, especially law enforcement officers. And I want you to shed some light on this so you can convince me more to agree with it. And the next question is, those food carts that are placed in town, are they licensed and insured to be on the road? Thank you.
Well, that's the other issue. The food carts, they really ought to be licensed. If they are vehicles, they should be licensed, they should be insured if they're using the road. So that is something, again, that we would have to enforce going forward. The question of the state of emergency, it is in place already, so there's nothing we can do about it at this time. I think our force is a professional force. The security forces are professional persons. We would not abuse the power. We would only use it to the extent that it is necessary to achieve whatever objective we want to achieve. If the powers are abused, we have processes to address abuse. We have a professional standard department that deals with complaints by the public against police officers. So if you feel that police would have overreached and abused his authority, abused his power, you could make a complaint to any police station or to any senior officer, and that abuse will be investigated and the appropriate action taken.
Thank you so much. Let's take our final call for this morning. Your life. Good morning.
Just 2 questions. One, the lady who said it's ice cream around the square, that's considered food? The ice cream bus.
And your second question?
The second one is like, how big will be okay, let me put it this way. In terms of persons who sell like a tray with nuts, like just a small tray with peanuts, those will be regarded as food people too?
All right, thank you for your question. I'll let Superintendent answer.
I'm certain that once the final report from the committee is submitted, it would address the various types of vendors and the various sizes that we have. And I don't think it will be one size fit all. You have a small person with a tray, of course, they will not cause the type of obstruction than a person with a large truck. And so there will be provision made for each category of vendor. Maybe the area will be set aside for persons with tray, an area will be set aside for persons with a cart, and persons with a truck. So there will be a structured way to manage the vendors so that we don't have the haphazard locating of the vendors around town. I'm certain whatever the final product would be, it will be much more organized and safer for everybody than what we had previously.
I know you were answering the ice cream question, but your mic was down.
Right, yeah, I'm saying ice cream is food, and so that would have also to be considered in the whole scheme of things. Whether you're going to have an area just for ice cream, or you're going to put the ice cream vendor the same place where you put the other type of food vendors, all those will be considered for the final product.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for calling in with your questions and your concerns, and those of you who sent your congratulations and your encouragement towards Commissioner James here in the studio with us. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sending in your questions. Gentlemen, your final words as we wrap up this morning.
Yes, JQ and Superintendent Francis and Superintendent Henry, my colleagues,
Yes.
I'll always be. I want to thank you guys for having me this morning. I can't go without saying a big thank you to my staff at Her Majesty's Prison, from my deputy, Mr. Harris, down to the lowest basic grade officer. So I want to commend the inmates. The inmates was very willing to come on board quickly in understanding that COVID is inside the prison. We got to work with the staff to help us to fight this inside the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I commend the inmates and those who would have taken their jobs also. And so the prisoners to play their role in assisting the staff in helping to fight and trying to contain the COVID inside the prison. But as again, my staff, I have staff working all the way through up until today, just to keep the prison going. The prison is an institution that we cannot close down. We cannot say, staff, you stay home and work from home. We have to have staff coming in every day. And so I want to publicly thank my staff for the support that they have been giving me so far. And again, we are trying our best at Her Majesty's Prison to keep the inmates and everybody at Her Majesty's Prison safe. Thank you.
Superintendent?
Well, yes, we want to likewise ask for the support of the public, and especially with our officers who are out in their numbers today and tomorrow, and has been ever since the start of these enhanced restrictions. The Commissioner of Police has restricted rest day liberties and vacation, so our officers now have to work even on their rest days. So we're basically going without rest sometimes, and that is a great sacrifice. So we ask the public to really show appreciation for this type of sacrifice that our officers are making by cooperating. The more you not cooperate, the more difficult you make it for the officers, because they are already working on their off time, and if you're making it extra hard for them, they really would have to go much beyond what is expected of them. So we ask for the full cooperation, knowing that you cooperating also keeps you safe, because if you're not cooperating, means that you're not following protocols, you're not behaving the way you're expected to behave, and so you put yourself at risk when that happens. We have some provisions that we've made for our farmers. I just want to make that clear because we're getting a lot of questions on it. Farmers on the 24-hour curfew days, they are allowed to visit their farms, because we've had complaints from them. Initially, we had only allowed the livestock farmers to go and feed their animals on the lockdown days, but the vegetable farmers, they have indicated that the monkeys destroy their crops when they're not there during the day, and so they would have liked the opportunity to go to their farms. So we have listened to that, and we are allowing all farmers, the food crops and livestock farmers, to go to their farms during the lockdown days between the hours of 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. and between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. So those are the time slots they are permitted to be on the street to get to or from their farm. Now, if you go to your farm at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you stay there until 3 o'clock in the afternoon and come down at 3, then that is fine. We will not come up there and chase you off the farm because it's after 7. You go to the farm in the morning and you stay and come down at 3, that is perfectly okay. But you cannot go up to the farm at 5 o'clock and then come down at 12 o'clock and be all over the street. You have to be off the street between 7 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So we ask for your cooperation there. For the fishers, we haven't granted that same facility for the fishers. You're only permitted to be out on the limited operation days like today and tomorrow, between 5 a.m. and 6 p.m. you're free to go to play your trade during that period. Now, if on the lockdown days, and we have weather systems as we do now, and you want to go and check on your vessels, just give the police station a call, and we will grant you to go and check on your vessel, but we will not allow you to go and play your trade on the lockdown days. Restaurants, the current emergency regulations doesn't permit restaurants to be open. However, it gives the commissioner the authority, the discretion to grant establishments permission to operate. The commissioner has been so gracious to allow restaurants to be open on limited operation days between 7 and 4 in the afternoon. And so restaurants can be open, but not for dining service. You can only deliver or take out. Restaurants can be open for delivery or takeout service, no dining. I would stop here. I would not want to take up any more time. I would just wish everybody a safe day today.
Thank you, man.
Okay, well, I know the superintendent have a lot to share and enlighten us and educate us about the situation and the curfew. From me, I want to thank the Commissioner of Corrections for accepting the invitation to come here at Policing with you and enlighten the general public as to the affairs of the Her Majesty's Prison. I want to thank you, GQ, and I want to thank the ZAZ management and staff. I want to thank the listening audience who just listen and absorb the information. And I want to thank the new callers and the constant callers. So I want to give a general thank you to everyone. I drove to town early this morning. I saw long lines at the supermarkets, and then a little after I saw some lines kind of thin up. But I want to thank the general public for adhering to the rules and protocols, because I realize in most cases persons are spacing out and trying to do their distance. So I'm glad that persons are adhering to what is going on. We still have the 1 or 2 areas that need to be adjusted, but as we go along we will adjust things. I want to also thank the law enforcement body. We've thanked the medical persons and other persons, essential persons who go above and beyond. However, with the 24-hour lockdown period, the police, law enforcement are out there, police soldiers are out there to enforce this lockdown and to enforce persons have to go to stay from traveling to and from. I want to extend thank you to them as well, because they have to be highlighted, because without the law enforcement to ensure persons not traveling, it will be a free for all.
Yes.
And then we would have a wider spread. And I want to thank the Superintendent Henry for time and time again giving up his time and effort to discuss. GQ, thank you very much, and see you when I see you.
Yes, man. I hope I can borrow the phrase and end with it this morning. Non Malta.
Said Malta.
Non Malta said Malta.
Yes.
Not quantity, but quality.
I have to look up that.
Not quantity, but quality.
You don't have to have a lot, but you need good ones.
Yes, man. Indeed. Indeed.
The Bastille High School motto was Principia non aminis.
Oh, man.
Another one.
Principles, not men.
Principles,
not men.
not men.
Another one.
I like that.
Tell me what you think